Hello, my name's Ashley. I'm one of the founders of Skira, and I'm here to tell you what's new in Construct 3 release 136. So the big new update with this release is the new Z elevation feature we've been working on is now available in a stable release. This allows you to move sprites towards and away from the camera on the Z axis. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we've already got another video which we've published about this, the teaser video. Go and have a look at that if you'd like to see it in action more. But we're really excited about this. We think it creates some really awesome visual effects, and we've already seen some users on the beta channel doing really beautiful stuff with it, and it's lovely to see people putting these new features to good use. So have a look on our Twitter or Facebook if you want to see some examples of that. It's very inspiring. Next up, there's a couple of new templates and examples. We have a new monk fight example. This is a kind of street beaten up style game that you might have played back in the day. It's you know, you run around, beat up the enemies, they run out after you. As with all our templates, the events are all available for you to go and have a look at and see how it was made. We've also got another new example called Procedural Terrain Generation. This uses the new Advanced Random plugin in the Construct 3 runtime to randomly generate a level. So all this ground you see here on the slope and the sort of rock underneath it, this is all randomly generated, and if you run along for a while you'll see it starts to change. There'll be drops and cliffs and so on, and this goes on forever. So it's an endless level. So this is an interesting way to sort of create, it's called procedural generation, where you're using logic to just keep on generating new parts of the level. So that's an interesting example to look at. It is an advanced example, so prepare yourself to get into some pretty technical details there. Next up, we've made some changes to the exporters in Construct 3. If you go to Export a Project, you'll now see there's a new export option for Facebook Instant Games. Previously, you would have been using the web HTML5 option here next to it, but Facebook made some changes to how instant games need to be uploaded. In particular, there's a new file that is required. So we've created a new export option so that if you choose this, it'll add all the files that are required, and you'll be able to immediately upload that to Facebook Instant Games without having to make any changes. The Instant Games plugin has also had lots of improvements and additions made to it, so go and check that out if you're using Instant Games. There's lots of new actions and conditions and features available to that. While we're looking at the export options, there's one more new export option, which is for Facebook Playable Ads. And if you look around about Facebook's guidelines for this, so this is a way of creating a ad which is actually a little playable game. So when you see the ad appear, you'll be able to actually play it, and then that will provide a call to action to say, you know, click here to go and buy the real app from the App Store or something like that. They have very strict requirements about the file size and the way it's packaged up. Notably, they require that everything is in a single file and everything's inlined into that file. So this will produce a single index.html file, which complies with their guidelines. You should have a look at the other guidelines though, because they are very strict. For example, the file size limit is 2 megabytes, which is very small, but fortunately Construct has very low overheads, and you can still make interesting, if small, games within that file size limit. So that's an interesting new option to use if you're interested in publishing to that option. In addition to that, there's all sorts of bug fixes and performance improvements. In particular, there's a lot of bug fixes to the C3 runtime, and a couple of performance improvements around sprite sheeting and rendering in the C3 runtime as well. And there's also a new project property for the maximum sprite sheet size in the advanced section, and this gives you a trade-off for lets you choose if you want to optimize for reduced memory usage or improved performance. So smaller sprite sheets tend to reduce memory usage, larger ones require fewer texture changes in the runtime, and that tends to be faster. But normally you shouldn't have to change that, and the default should work okay. That's all I'm going to cover in this video. As ever, if you want to find out more, go onto the construct.net website and have a look at the full change log, the update logs. There's been a whole bunch of changes. I've just covered the highlights here. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks and enjoy.